Global energy markets are experiencing unprecedented seismic shocks tonight following a series of massive missile strikes targeting the world's primary liquefied natural gas supply centers.
From the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean, the scale of the ongoing conflict between Israel, Iran, and their regional allies has finally reached a dangerous tipping point.
Tonight, we report from the Ras Laffan industrial city in Qatar, where thick smoke rises from the world's largest LNG export terminal after an Iranian ballistic strike. With the strategic Strait of Hormuz effectively closed and Brent crude oil prices surging past $115, economic aftershocks are spreading from Tokyo to Berlin. As Israel confirms the elimination of high-ranking Iranian officials, Tehran vows a crushing response. The world watches as this shadow war threatens to become a global conflict. This is the Global Conflict Intelligence Report for March 19, 2026. We provide the strategic analysis you need to understand the shifting fronts of modern energy warfare.
The crisis began with an Israeli airstrike on a secure diplomatic compound in Tehran, resulting in the confirmed death of senior strategist Ali Larijani.
On March 18, the IRGC Navy deployed swarm fast attack craft to intercept 3 commercial tankers within the strategic waters of the Strait of Hormuz. The White House has now deployed the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group from the Arabian Sea, with explicit orders to restore freedom of navigation. The IDF is utilizing swarm drone technology to neutralize subterranean tunnel networks, while Hezbollah responds with Cornet-EM anti-tank guided missiles.
Intelligence reports suggest Iran has successfully deployed Fatah-2 hypersonic missiles for the first time, specifically targeting hardened command centers.
A critical technological factor has emerged: electronic warfare. Large sectors of the eastern Mediterranean are experiencing intense GPS spoofing. At the United Nations, the Security Council remains deadlocked. While Western powers advocate for maritime enforcement, the Russian Federation and China have abstained. The European Central Bank has adjusted its projections, warning of a sharp inflationary surge that could see energy costs rise by 30%. Scenario 1: total infrastructure attrition. Tehran may initiate a systematic campaign against every major desalination plant and power grid across the Gulf. The coming 48 hours will be decisive. With the Pentagon requesting $200 billion, the window for a diplomatic off-ramp is closing rapidly. A massive strike package is scheduled for tonight. We are entering the most dangerous phase of this century, where every decision carries global existential weight. This has been a special report. We will continue to provide live updates as this global energy and military crisis unfolds. Good night from our headquarters.
Intelligence suggests the deployment of sophisticated acoustic mines within the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, effectively doubling the naval blockade's impact on global shipping lanes.
In the outskirts of Beirut, advanced electronic warfare suites have reportedly neutralized several drone reconnaissance flights, creating a tactical blind spot for coalition forces. Simultaneously, NATO's Mediterranean Task Force has increased its readiness level to Delta, signaling an immediate shift toward active maritime interdiction operations.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has activated its Patriot and THAAD batteries along the northern border, anticipating potential spillover from the escalating kinetic exchanges.
Cyber Command reports a massive distributed denial-of-service attack against the SWIFT banking system, likely a retaliatory strike against Western economic sanctions. As the sun rises over the Persian Gulf, the world awaits the impact of these multi-domain strikes on the fragile stability of the global order. In the early hours, the European Union has activated its emergency energy solidarity mechanism, as natural gas reserves plummet to critical levels following the Gulf shutdowns. Satellite surveillance has detected unusual movement within Russia's northern fleet, suggesting a coordinated naval posturing in the Arctic to exploit the global maritime overstretch. The Pentagon has confirmed that the B-21 Raider stealth bombers have been forward deployed to Diego Garcia, marking their first active combat-ready mission in the Indian Ocean theater.
Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force has dispatched a destroyer flotilla to the Arabian Sea, joining the coalition effort to escort critical ammonia and hydrogen shipments.
Local reports from the Bushehr nuclear power plant indicate that IRGC air defense units have engaged several unidentified aerial targets over the coastal facility tonight. As global markets prepare for the opening bell in New York, analysts predict the most volatile trading session in history, with energy futures completely untethered from reality. Flash intelligence reports indicate a significant escalation in the South China Sea, where Chinese Type 055 destroyers have established a maritime exclusion zone tonight.
This maneuver appears timed to coincide with the Western focus on the Persian Gulf, effectively challenging the U.S. 7th Fleet's freedom of maneuver in the Pacific. In northern Iran, coalition special operations forces have reportedly initiated a localized ground offensive to neutralize mobile Fatah-2 hypersonic missile batteries today.
The IRGC has responded with heavy artillery fire from the Zagros mountain range, targeting coalition logistics hubs along the border in a desperate defensive maneuver. Simultaneously, Taiwan has raised its defense posture to combat ready, as multiple H-6K strategic bombers are detected crossing the median line of the strait.
The Australian Defence Force has announced the deployment of its first AUKUS-class submarine to the Indian Ocean to monitor the shifting naval balance. In the cyber domain, a massive breach of the Indian national power grid has been linked to APT-40, causing widespread blackouts across the northern provinces. Satellite imagery confirms that the Iranian Bushehr nuclear facility remains operational despite the heavy air defense activity reported earlier in the night.
The United Kingdom has called for an emergency G7 meeting in London to discuss the total global conflict scenario as supply chains reach their breaking point. This concludes our latest tactical update. The fronts are expanding, and the window for containment has effectively closed. We remain on high alert for further developments. Turning to the eastern flank, the Polish Ministry of Defense has announced the emergency production of 1 million anti-personnel mines to fortify the East Shield border system. This defensive surge follows confirmed reports of Russian units expanding from brigades into full divisions along the Suwalki Gap, heightening fears of a lightning corridor strike. In Ukraine, the war enters its fifth year of attrition. Russian forces have gained 46 square miles this month alone, primarily through intensified Shahed drone saturation strikes. The Kremlin's strategy appears focused on degrading Ukrainian railway logistics, aiming to paralyze the flow of Western munitions before the spring mud season begins today. Internal unrest is now surfacing in major energy-producing nations. In Venezuela, widespread blackouts and fuel shortages have triggered mass protests in the capital of Caracas. The International Energy Agency has initiated its largest collective action in history, releasing 400 million barrels of oil from global strategic reserves tonight.
Despite this release, Brent crude remains volatile near $100, as the destruction of Iranian processing hubs at Asaluye removes 14% of their domestic gas output. Lithuanian intelligence warns that Russia is utilizing its combat experience in Ukraine to prepare newly formed divisions for a potential direct confrontation with NATO by 2032.
With the European Parliament approving €60 billion for Ukrainian defense, the continent is effectively transitioning into a permanent war economy to survive the coming decade. We are witnessing the total recalibration of global power. From the Suwalki Gap to the Strait of Hormuz, the age of stable boundaries has come to an end. The global nuclear posture has reached its highest alert level since the Cold War. Strategic Command has confirmed that Russia's Yars mobile ICBM units are now dispersing into the taiga. Simultaneously, the United States has activated Sentinel silos across the Midwest, while the USS Tennessee has submerged in the North Atlantic to maintain an undetected second strike capability. In the humanitarian sector, the energy famine has reached a breaking point. Sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia report a total breakdown of local electrical grids tonight. International aid agencies warn that the interruption of the global ammonia trade will trigger a fertilizer shortage, potentially leading to a massive famine within the next 6 months. Tehran has reportedly moved its most sensitive nuclear research materials to the underground Fordo facility, shielded by several hundred feet of solid granite against airstrikes. In response, the Pentagon has authorized the deployment of the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, specifically designed to target hardened subterranean complexes in the Zagros range. India and Pakistan have both moved to Stage 2 mobilization along the line of control as the global energy vacuum increases internal political pressure on both nations. Japan has officially requested a permanent U.S. carrier presence in the Sea of Japan, as North Korea prepares for another tactical nuclear test in the Punggye-ri tunnels. The United Nations General Assembly has declared a state of global emergency, though the motion carries no enforcement power as the major powers prepare for kinetic resolution. As the clock ticks toward midnight, The silence over the tactical maps is broken only by the sound of launch ignitions. The era of diplomacy is over. The era of survival has begun.